Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lonnie B on My Sister's Keeper. We're here tonight with the cast of Creeps and Silly Women. Tonight, let us introduce our cast tonight that's on the show tonight. I am Alonda.
I'm Danita.
And I am DeAndrea.
And we are My Sister's Keeper, SiSSTA'S, yes. And tonight we have the pleasure of being here with Creeps and Silly Women. We have the pleasure of being with them tonight as they're getting ready for their show that's going to open up tomorrow. Everyone, please make plans to be there tomorrow night. What time is the show?
6:00 p.m.
That's Miss Evelyn, everyone, the writer and the producer of the show. Miss Evelyn, will you tell us a little bit about your show?
It's going to be Creeps and Silly Women based upon 2 Timothy 3 and 6 for those who creep into households and lay captive silly women laden with various sins and lusts. You're in for a roller coaster ride. It's going to be a lot of laughter, a lot of seriousness, and a lot of finding your identity.
Finding your identity, huh? We've talked about that. Actually, our show was our previous. We just finished up the Chronicles of Know Your Worth. And so we talked about projects, first, and rejects, own your ish. And then we also talked about moving forward and not going backwards. So looking at a lot of the promos of your show, it seems that it aligns with what's going on now. Because, today's time, we do have a lot of creeps that creep in, and we have a lot of silly women. So tell us, what is it that we should actually be looking for when we come to the show?
I think a lot of yourself. You're going to see yourself. You're going to see somebody that you know. Maybe a sister or brother. You're going to see something that identifies with you.
Okay. So identifies with me. There's a lot to me. This shell's got a lot underneath it.
This is the old version of me.
I know.
Because, at some points, it's like, you may have done things in your past when you were a child in the state of mind, and now you're maturity. So you're going to see yourself somewhere.
Absolutely.
Somewhere.
Okay. So, will you introduce the cast to us or allow them to introduce themselves?
I'll let them introduce themselves and they can tell you about it.
Hi, I'm Samson Logan. I play the role of Michael in the show.
Vanessa's like,
Hi, I'm Vanessa Anders and I play Jennifer in the show.
Okay.
Aubrey Stevenson, I play the role of Uncle Percival.
Yes.
Percival.
I am Tony Grant, and I'm part of the cast of the CREEPS and Silly Women.
Yes.
I play the character of Jason.
Okay.
And I'm Darren DeWitt Henson, and I play the character of Miles, and I'm not a sister.
Well, now, there you have it.
And my name is Maple and I play myself.
So you're Miss Maple in the show. Yes.
I always have to have a Miss Maple.
Yes, that wisdom that we look for. So tell us a little bit, Miss Evelyn, what was challenging about bringing your script to life?
Well, whenever I write, I go to a deep place, honestly. And sometimes I write from experience. I seek the Lord, of course. Sometimes writing comes easy, sometimes it doesn't. So when it does, it just really just flows. When it doesn't, then I really have to seek Him even more. But in this particular piece, you're going to see a lot of my life in there. Because I've been a silly woman.
Really?
Yes, I have. But
so what's a silly woman?
Well, in my case, you just have to really go to the show, but you're going to see a lot of me in that show.
Okay. And we'll be there.
All right.
But I've had my fair share of being silly. Trust me when I say that.
I believe we all.
Well, I guess in the cast, in your definition, as looking, because Miss Evelyn said we'll see it throughout the play. What would be your quick definition of a silly woman? Because we want to make sure that our audience attaches themselves to, oh, that's me. Let me come see.
I think it comes from people knowing what to do but not doing what they know. right? Does that make sense? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Did he
So-
say answer yes?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So-
Yeah, shake your head like this. Shake your head like this, right? Yeah, sure.
Because that's what it is. Most people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. So they get caught in situations that they know they shouldn't be in. They feel sorry later, and then they go, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I knew I shouldn't have said that. Or I know I shouldn't have allowed that into my life. But they do. So where we get the old saying, learn from a fool, a wise man learns from a fool's mistakes, right? So, but most people want to repeat the mistake themselves, right? So that's what happens, and we get to see it unfold in the show many different ways, comically, I think dramatically, and even in Tony's character. I mean, there's a lot to be said about how his unfolds as well.
Yeah, because it's not only silly women, there's some silly brothers out there.
Silly brothers.
Amen.
Huh?
Amen. Amen.
So the stove is hot, in other words, but we want to touch it ourselves.
Right.
Okay. So I guess talk to us about give us a little bit about your character and who in the cast kind of identifies more so in real life to the characters that they play.
Oh, wow. Well, I played a good guy in the show. It speaks for itself. No,
Samson speaks for itself.
Yeah. So actually, I really try to be. I don't want to get too much, but I'm a private investigator, and I'm the one that go after the guys that's treating the women evil and try to pull them out of the crowd and get them on a right street. You know what I mean? Get them. So I'm right. But actually, they come to me and I try to put them on the right path or give them the right words of encouragement and try to do the right thing and come after this bad boy back here.
Right.
He does it by way of Facebook, Instagram.
No, I help.
The common term, maintenance man.
I help. I educate.
I
help.
You educated on a creep.
Right. Well, y'all, see, I got to come to the show. And it's going to all be revealed on tomorrow.
And Miss Vanessa,
Man.
and tell us about you.
Hey! Okay, my character's Jennifer, which is Tony's wife. And let's just say she feels like the grass is greener on the other side and does some things that she shouldn't. And then when she wants to come back,
See, sometimes you water your own grass, the grass can be just as green.
No, sometimes my grass will stay green.
Cut your own grass.
Right.
You know, grass does get fungus.
Yes, it does.
I'm just saying. There you
Sometimes
go.
it will grow.
I'm just saying it
Sometimes
gets
it'll be
fungus.
St. Augustine in Bermuda, and we want the St. Augustine, but we don't understand St. Augustine comes with its own woes of bugs and
Right.
You've been talking about those grub worms.
The grub worms.
Sometimes you get weeds
Yeah.
that kind of grow through the
But it's
grass.
beautiful on the outside, but when you get deep,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, sometimes we think we cooking the chicken leg, but we really cooking the turkey.
right. Yeah.
the chicken has steroids. All right. Percival,
Yes.
is it you?
No. I am a reformed creep, so to speak. But I take witness to, I play the uncle, of course, but I play witness to all of the shenanigans that's going on, and I try to offer wisdom too at the same time. But I have past too, so.
He's an old pimp.
Let me tell you, Claire.
An old pimp with a limp. That's what I'm saying.
Pimp with a limp. There's so many ways we can go with that. We gonna stick it. We gonna keep it clean. We gonna keep it clean.
Tony, how about you?
Well, my character,
Creep.
yeah, he's a good creep. He's a good creep because there's a naive creep too. You understand what I'm saying? So he's that guy that he's a nice guy, but sometimes even being a nice guy, women don't want a soft guy. They want a guy that's gonna hold his own, and he don't hold his own for a minute. He just get walked on. So that's kind of that's been true to my life in somewhat in my past when I was younger.
You were soft?
Yeah, I was.
He was in love.
I was a very tender brother.
Nose wide open.
No. Yeah, my nose wide open. I didn't say I was sensitive.
Right,
I
right.
didn't say I was sensitive.
It's different.
There's a difference. I was
Yeah,
not
definitely
sensitive. I was not sensitive.
No S's.
No, I wasn't that. But I was, because I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. So I watched the sensitivity that they brought forth. They were very affectionate, which I learned from that, being affectionate, that kind of thing. Which my generation, that ain't what they wanted. They didn't want that. Nah, yeah. Anyway,
You want a thug, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of, the balance was off. But I've grown. I've grown, yes I have.
Yeah.
I've evolved.
You look like you reflected for a minute.
Yeah, no.
And I always
It's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah,
It's a
it is.
journey.
I play a character named Miles. I'll give you a little bit of backstory. Miles is a person who's narcissistic. He operates through his ego, mostly because as a child, he did not receive the proper guidance, whether it was from a father or a mother. And as you understand, and probably have seen in our society, when men don't have proper guidance and proper teaching or protection as an adolescent, they play out their creative desires on women, and they tend to take advantage of them. And sometimes these men don't know how much pain and suffering they're creating, but hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
So that is being played out in the show through my character, and you'll see what the resolve is. But that's really what it's about. Hurt people, and until we have come to a point where we're able to look at ourselves and fix ourselves, we continue to do the same thing over and over again. So it becomes a cycle.
He plays his part the best in the whole show.
All in all.
I know she kept saying
Was it
those
easy for him?
people.
Those people.
Like, not
He kept saying those people. You know, I don't want to be attached to narcissistic. Okay, gotcha.
We got you. So off camera, off stage, you are.
I've gone through my own narcissism. I think we live in a society now that is developing narcissism. I mean, the whole aspect in terms of selfie is narcissistic.
Yes.
You know, running to Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter to see if people immediately have responded to anything that you post is growing narcissism. So these are the things that we're dealing with in society that are being perpetuated by the media, by people, by family members. So these are things that we ultimately will suffer from unless we become those that look at ourselves and desire to be fixed or to go through some form of metamorphosis or change. It will be a cycle that we'll have to deal with. It's not going anywhere.
Absolutely. Thank you. Miss Maple. Let's see, we're gonna come back to that too. Miss Maple.
I play as myself, but I am one of the silly women. Flirty, and some parts of it I'm giving advice. But you can be silly, but you still can give advice. You're being silly. You can still give advice. And so just like he said, some part of that was me in my younger days. Being silly and flirty.
Silly and flirty.
Right.
Why y'all look at me when she said silly and
Oh,
flirty?
no, we thought you might have had a wisdom. We had a wisdom, but
No. I mean, I have wisdom now. Back in the day, it wasn't wisdom. But give us a few moments. We're going to actually go to a break. We have to pay some bills. So to our viewers who are on Facebook, Twitter, please hold for one moment. Stand by, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to My Sister's Keeper. I am Alonda, and we thank you all for joining us tonight. As always, grab your choice of beverage, sit back and relax. We ask you to text a friend, tweet a friend, and tell a friend to join in tonight as we're sitting here today with the cast of Creeps and Silly Women. But before we actually get back into the show, I got to pay one... Really?
All right. All right. Clapping on the water bill. That's all
Love
right.
our producer clapping for me. Yes, thank you. But before we do, I need to pay one more bill. So let's talk about 2017 Coleman Dallas Race for the Cure. Saturday, October the 28th, 2017. 6 a.m. the race starts. The race site opens, and the race starts at 8 a.m. Please come out. If you're not walking or running, please come out and support those who have been affected or impacted by breast cancer. Also, the location is North Park Center at 8687 North Central Expressway. Again, it's 8687 North Central Expressway. Please come out and show your support. Once again, that's the 2017 Susan G. Komen race. So when we went to break, Miss Evelyn asked that we actually share a little bit about ourselves. So we'll go ahead and start with Dee. Yes, gotcha.
So basically, we came together because, talking to our very own Mr. Willis over here, he kind of birthed the idea of, hey, you're in different sororities. Do you have friends? So, of course, I have friends in every sorority because they're my friends. And so, before they are sorority members. And so, we came together to dispel the myth that, for one, black women can't get along. And for two, that this black cloud that women in different sororities only hang with the women in their sororities, or they have no identity of their own. And so, it was spurred through that. However, I told him it's deeper for me. It's personal because by trade I'm a high school principal by day, so that's why. But again, it's teaching our children that they are kings and queens by birthright. And if sometimes the grown-ups don't get it right, and so what do? We want to have a platform where we speak to our grown-ups, but we speak to our youth as well, to let them know who you are, know your purpose, and know your worth. And so that's why we challenge each other to grow, because we can look at a past and we can look at a future, but my future will always be every day I wake up to say, who can I be better today? Mm-hmm. And so I pass that on. I try to instill that into my faculty, into the people I interact with, and into my students. So that's the first part of My Sister's Keeper. Danita?
We are an interactive radio show, and as Deandra said, we are for women in different walks of life, different careers, different stages of life, and we are banding together in unity to show that there is unity amongst us. There's friendship, and we're bringing our individual knowledge to the table so that collectively we can reach the vast audience of women and young ladies, and just people in general with our life experiences, hoping that we can help someone along the way.
And I think they gave you all the positive side of it, but the other side of it is that we also show women that you will have disagreements. We sit every other Monday, and we don't always agree. But the bottom line of it is that I'm accountable for my own actions. So we make sure that we actually encourage women more so that stop looking at what happened to you and start focusing on how you can change what happened to you from you, and why does it keep happening? Because the common denominator at the end of the day is you. So we do that, and then we also are actually involved into the community. We make sure that we give back out to the community. We make sure that we reach to the community. One of the things is that there has to be a complete you. And in doing that complete you, it has to be that you have to know who you are on the inside. Because once you know who you are on the inside and you actually love yourself on the inside, then it can intensify the beauty on the outside, which brings a different aroma, which means that your spiritual fragrances change. So therefore, you'll no longer keep connecting to creeps, but you'll get your Boaz, and you don't have to give up the... Okay. So that's a lot about our show.
Right. You attract who you are. Girls compete with each other. Women empower each other.
That's right.
And so changing that circle, changing who you attract, and being able to move past the victim role and just say, I acknowledge what happened to me, so now let me empower and be a testimony to someone else.
Awesome.
So
That purpose.
That's awesome.
Be the purpose, be on purpose.
It's beautiful. It sounds like a lot of what Miss Evelyn talks about with your show, and this particularly, Creeps and Silly Women. It's, a phrase could be created by it is, your story doesn't belong to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful part about it, is that a lot of what she's gone through, a lot of that, what she's written about, a lot of what you've experienced in your life, you shared. I love when you said your spiritual fragrance,
Mm-hmm.
right? It enhances the more you're able to define what it is that you want to give, then people can learn and grow from it. So our stories really are not our own. They're to assist other people so they can help themselves. And that's what's wonderful about this particular play and why I took the role. Because somebody has to be able to tell the story where a finger is not pointed and it's just the bad guy. Because if you always point the finger at the bad guy, he remains perpetually the bad guy and doesn't change. No one likes to get the finger pointed at him. So if you're able to tell a story and give reason behind it, I think through empathy, people naturally want to assist other people so they can help change themselves.
Absolutely. Clean out your closet.
she said clean out your closet, which was one that we talked about. It said sometimes you keep keeping things in your closet, but you outgrow them, or you actually shrink and you can't fit them, so they become too big. But yet and still, why do we still hold on to it?
That's right.
That's a good play title.
Yeah.
Baggage. Clean out your closet. We got you. We got you.
We have a lot of them. We have a lot of them. If you come hang with us on the show one day, we have a lot of them. But, I guess moving forward, that's why we were excited when we saw it. And when I looked it up and I said, okay, she's been doing this. So it's always been a story. So how do you tell more women about the story? Because collectively we can only get better. Well, again, you acknowledge that. I have to look at myself. I have to own it. And so the moment that I own my past, it's no longer that the future you can't bind me in my present, and my future changes. And so we talked about in one of our last shows that we always get caught up on the past, but if we actually look at the present as the present, the past the past is just what it is. But if I bring the past into the present, now I've excluded what needs to be done as far as moving forward, because now I'm focused on something that already happened. And so I'm not allowing anything to come in to make me better. I'm not allowing anything to allow me to grow, because I'm focused on this one little piece that happened. And so, one of the things we were going to ask the next question of, is this for teenagers?
Yes.
Is it for teenagers?
Yes.
And so one thing that I guess I see on a day-to-day basis is, how do we get the story to them earlier?
Right.
How do we get the story to them earlier? Because what's happening is you have a generation of hurt people who hurt people who hurt people. And guess what they see? They see the hurt.
Right.
They don't see the love and the affection that you saw.
Right.
They don't see, how do I forgive? They don't see how I move past this moment to be something great. But the beauty behind it is that we all have greatness in us. We have to get past ourselves. And so the moment we release that is the moment that we step into, and what you did, you step into your destiny. And you're able to bless others beyond, because, again, the story is not your own.
Right.
So thank you for being here, pouring back in. The weeks are long, the days are long, but you always have to be reminded. And so it goes back into who reminds you of who you are. And so you have to be a vessel for people, so that when they are down, I have to remind you and speak life into you, which is why you saw Sisters Keepers. Speak life into someone so they achieve success, not you.
Right.
Because you're only as successful as the person that you're helping.
Right.
So that's why we're here, and we thank you for being here. Moving forward, what would be the most challenging thing about bringing this to life?
The most challenging thing, I think you have challenges, period. It's just how you deal with the challenges. Because challenges could be financial, challenges could be finding the right person to cast for the role. But I just think that you just have to just step out and just do it.
And that's so hard today.
Yep.
Because fear controls. And the reason fear controls is because of that dysfunction that we have created to be our normal environment. And so you say, okay, I want to do it. You know that you have the skills and the talents, but that one little voice, if somebody told you that you can't, lingers on and holds you in bondage. So, did you have any of those challenges? Because I read a little bit of your bio. And so tell us, how did you overcome that?
I think each day I remind myself that I am my Father's daughter. And I think that's what helps me a lot, because I remember the first play I did when I stepped out on faith. This will be my 10th anniversary. November the 3rd will be my 10th anniversary. And the first time I did a play, I remember when I first rented a venue, I remember being in a grocery store as soon as I signed my contract, and a fear just came over me and just said, you cannot do this, nobody knows you. And I stopped right in the middle, put my groceries down, and said that I am who God says I am. I can do what God says I can do. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, no weapon formed against. And I just stood there in the grocery store talking loud to myself, and people passing by me, and I said that God has supplied all my needs. God has given me funds. He's given me the people. And I just stood there in the grocery store. I got the rest of my groceries, and I went on, and I've been walking ever since.
But you said one of the scriptures that I like, you said, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. In that scripture, it doesn't say that it's not going to form. It just says that it's not going to prosper. So out of your 10 years, how many formed?
Constantly, because... And it's bad that we as a people hate on you. They really do.
Well, we know.
But you have to go on, and you have to still give those people love regardless. And you still have to remind yourself, I'm my Father's daughter.
Right.
That's who I am. No matter what you say about me, what you write about me, I'm his daughter. I'm whatever he says I am. That's who I am.
Right. So what have you all been doing in your pastime when you're not rehearsing, when you're not on the set? Miss Mabel?
A little of everything.
Okay.
A little of everything. But Booney.
That's my nickname.
That's my nickname.
Okay.
Well, Booney and I, we road buddies, and we travels, different places, and we just do things, girly things.
Girly things.
I
like girly things.
Girly things.
Traveling, road trips. Y'all going on them girl trips?
We just came from
You just came from a girls' trip?
Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Reclaiming my time.
Mr. Sampson?
Mr. Sampson,
Yes, third person, yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Sampson.
thank God, yeah. When we're not doing this, actually we're always doing this because this is a lifestyle.
Right.
So between the West Coast and the East Coast, we're bi-coastal now. Still talking in third person. I'm a co-pastor with my dad at a church in New York. So between dealing with the young people at the church and helping build that on the East Coast and on the West Coast, we're still doing independent film. I did a film called Breathe, and we're still working that now. It's associated with, it goes along with what you guys do. We're dealing with African American sisters and a disease called preeclampsia. So we kind of attacking that because the white America wasn't recognizing it. So a lot of our sisters were dying with preeclampsia. It hits 7 out of every 10 black women, but only 1 out of every 20 white women. So it wasn't something they were paying attention to. So we brought light to that. So right now the movie's in 130 countries. The book just was released last month. And working on a couple of independent films in LA, and working with this beautiful lady right here. And we're bringing, like you said, finding new avenues to get the message to young people through books, through movies, through music, so that they can, hear this thing, because they're not going to go to church, not going to go to listen to seminars. So you got to go to where they are so they can get the message, either through song, through music, through the internet, through my sisters. So that's what we're doing now, through Creeps and Silly Women. So through Tony doing the music and the TV thing, Darren doing the TV thing, and all these people up here doing their things, we're bringing it to the people so they can know that there is a way to succeed without compromising.
Miss Vanessa.
Wow. When I'm not working with Booney, I also work for school district, so I work with the school district. I've been working on several short films with local producers here in the area. I also travel with Miss Booney and Miss Mabel. We went to
so they got them girls
to SiSSTa'S, which was amazing. I sing in my choir, so our choir also traveled to DC. We got to sing at the National Black Caucus. So that was awesome. So traveling, I love to travel and stay busy and look for the next project.
My neighbor.
Outside of singing and acting, I'm a business analyst for a major bank. But I mean, I'm just trying to tap into more who I am and be secure of who I am and the gift that God has given me, and just to exercise that and get stronger in that. And being around these amazing people really helped me to tap in and to get out of my own way and to build confidence in who I am and pursue what God has put in me.
Oh, I've been traveling mostly all my life, so I meet every walk of life. I meet believers, I meet people that don't believe. I meet young, old, I meet married, single, I meet them all. But what I did was, because I'm a believer, I went to God and I said, okay, what do I say to that person that doesn't believe? What do I say to that young person that's saying it's too hard to be a Christian? It's too hard. Why can't I be a Christian and have a good time and have fun? What do I say? Because I grew up in North Carolina having those same questions. I had those same exact, he's preaching back there, you can't go to the movies, you can't go to the parties, you can't, this is all sin, this is all wrong. So I prayed and I asked God, what do I say? So God gave me some very, very good wisdom to give to these young people, and when their desire is to do what I do. So I don't come at them over the head and pop, you got to go, God, this, no, not ease, God, right on nothing there. And I let them know, first of all, love yourself, but secondly, be a trendsetter. Think trendsetter, not trend follower. Think that. If you think trendsetter, not trend follower, now you're putting yourself and you're establishing yourself in this big old world where everybody's doing something different. And it's okay for you to be different, because your success is going to be through you being different. And that's what my parents spoke to me. And one of the things that my parents spoke to me that I say to young people is I say, look in the mirror. And you look at yourself and you repeat after me, I'm the best. My grandmother made me do this. I am the best. And I said, I'm the best. And she said, there's nobody better. And I was like, Granny, that's a little cocky. And she said, just say it more. I said, there's nobody better. And then she said, because God only made one of me. And I said, because God only made one of me, I need to be the best me I can possibly be. So I share that with young people. And with that, as they continue to do or go on their journey, if they contact me again or I check on them, I let them know, with being all of that you can be, you can't do it without God, because He's the one that started it from the beginning. And that's how I get God in. But so many young people, they're trying to figure it out, and you're battling against the internet and the cell phones, all these things. And the internet is telling them, I got to look better than her, so I got to take more clothes off than her. I got to look better than him, so I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they're posting all these things. And so we as creators have to figure out a way to outdo the internet. We have to make our kids motivated more than the internet, because we can instill in them something that's going to last them and lead them to their journey and their destination. So that's what I do when I'm not doing this.
In the second half of this year, I just completed a feature film with Ernie Hudson and Armand Asante called The Family Business, which will be out next year. I'm working on my third book, which will be released in January. And I've just secured a distribution deal for my directorial debut of a feature film that I did called The Hotel. So that's been keeping me busy.
Great. So there's a lot that you all have shared with us. We'll actually try to get that information offline so we can actually post it on our website of what your future upcomings are. But when we come back from break, I want to talk about who's the life of the cast. We're going to go to break. So for those of you who are out there watching and tuning in today, please stand by, hold that thought, go ahead and go to the restroom, wash your hands, come back and grab that favorite beverage, and we'll be back.
Please wash your hands now.
Right.
Okay, and so now we're going to go out with Come and Talk to Me.
Come on now.
By Jodeci.
Oh, this thing. Oh, okay.
And welcome back to My Sister's Keeper. I am Alonda, and we are My Sister's Keeper, SiSSTA'S. Yes. So welcome to My Sister's Keeper radio show on Power Play Radio. You can view us every first and third Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. on PowerPlayRadioNetwork.com, or you can also join us on our Facebook page at My Sister's Keeper. We are actually here to actually promote and actually get into those transparent conversations with everyone in the listening audience, and so we can actually find out those deep-rooted issues, so we can actually help through healing and restoring you, which will intensify the beauty on the outside of you. We do have a commercial that we want to go to. Let's talk about domestic violence hotline. If you know anyone who has been a victim, or you know anyone who is going through domestic violence, please always know that you can call 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. And what a better way to segue into creeps and silly women. So when we left, I said that we were going to come back and we were going to talk about who's the life of the cast. So who's the life?
Wow.
Miss Maple is?
I think we have a lot of people that are the wife of the cast, but one I can think in particular who's not here, his name is
Galen.
Oh my God. Every day when Galen comes to rehearsal or come on and say, "What's up, family?" I mean, just
He's high.
Yeah, he was on Facebook.
yeah.
I saw Galen.
So Galen.
He just that's when he walked in the house. Right?
So, I mean, most definitely Galen is the life of the cast. No matter what's going on, Galen's gonna always come in happy and at a 30. We may be at like
No,
a 5.
he's at 100.
Okay. We may be at like a 5 or a 10, just mellow again.
Where is Galen?
He's loading in my van.
Well, Galen, I just want you to know that they're talking about you. But you
love
can
you,
hear them now.
Yeah, Galen, we can see you after rehearsal.
After rehearsal.
At rehearsal.
Not after. So, who's the drama?
Ooh.
Who brings drama to the cast?
Now, when you say drama,
Yeah.
I don't put
drama.
Who's more needy?
Who's more needy?
Who needs validation?
Who needs validation?
Needy, validation, attention.
right.
Support. Comfort.
Vanessa? I mean, all heads are going this way. I mean, unless they get the crook, I don't know what to tell you.
Heads will
And who's the kumbaya person? Everything's great. Everything's fine.
Cece.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Amazing singer also.
So she has the anointing oil all the time.
Yeah, she got the oil. Always got to work.
And who's the philosophical one?
Derek.
I just wanted it to be said.
I know about everything.
I mean, he will tell you how to eat your diet as far as cancer.
Well read.
He's well versed.
He's learning.
He actually had me watching the water. He was like, is this got oxygen in it?
That's why we didn't get one. We were afraid.
It's not alcohol. It's not alcohol. It's not mine. 9.6.
There you go.
9.6. It's not enough. It's not enough.
So it's interesting. I wanted you all to say that because the whole time that he's been here, you know, when it gets to him, he says, "Well, you know, I have been doing." I'm like, okay, does this brother loosen up? He's like,
That is my
That's loose.
Yeah.
That's loose.
Wow.
You know, when you sit in who you are, you trust who you are because you trust who you learned from. There is no trying anymore.
Absolutely.
You know, we have this thing that I dispel all the time when I speak to people because we waste a lot of time trying. You know, we held this up. I held the bottle up the other day, and I do this for fun, and I go, try to pick up this bottle of water. Now, see, most people would do the same thing. I didn't say pick up the bottle of water. I said try to pick up the bottle of water. Right. And then it confuses people. And it confuses people because either they pick up the water or they don't. There is no trying.
Right.
So I
Preach,
don't.
Bishop.
You either do or
Come on, woman.
you don't do.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we remove trying from our life and just choose to do or not to do, then we would move forward, I think, a lot quicker.
And it's funny you say that, because on our show, that's some of the things that we talk about, is being comfortable in who you are and where you are.
Right.
And don't be defined by your past, nor what people actually see you. You know, a lot of times, and I can relate it to this, a lot of times, you know, you may talk a certain way or you may have a certain poise, and people say, oh, you look like a preacher. No, I don't. Trust me, I'm not. But sometimes we always put perception, and so eventually somewhere along the line that perception actually becomes a fantasy of reality in our mind, and we lose sense of self. So it takes a while for us to actually come back and say, who am I really? So you have to dispel and break and pull back all those layers that everyone has defined you, you know, from, you know, when you were knee high to a pup, all the way to who you are at that point. And that's one of the things that we talk about, is that, who are you? You know, there's one show we talked about, and Dee said, how many times do we as women truly look in the mirror and see who we are? Not brush your hair, not brush your teeth, not comb your hair, not put on makeup, but just stand there and actually accept reality for who you really are. And a lot of times we don't do that because we don't know who we are. So you can't. So if I look in the mirror, if I'm looking, the first thing comes to my mind is, they said that I should do this. Oh, they said my hair was cute. Oh, they said my face was flawless. Oh, they said this. But it's never who you say you are. So you can't walk in self. You're walking in a mask.
Yeah, and a lot of that is really based upon confusion of what you've been told before. So your past doesn't equal the future unless you live there. And perception, if we take it a step further, does become reality, because whatever you're looking for is also looking for you. And the law of attraction is very real.
That's true.
Your perception is your reality, your authentic self. And, you know, just the extension of that, you know, I tell the girls all the time, if I were to take my hair out, take my lashes off, could I just stand there and look at myself and understand that my skin is beautiful, my face is beautiful, that there was no one else created to look like me, be me, speak like me, walk like me, talk like me. It's just, I'm the best. And so when you get people there, but you, again, going back to the social media, we have this jaded view where, guess what, I can turn my camera phone up, or I can alter how I look now. And you see all these people with these filters on their phone, because that means when I see filters on the phone, it's like, am I okay with how I look? And, you know, we've had this argument with girls back and forth, and they said that, no, it just makes me look prettier, or I like the way it looks, and that's that. I said, but who are you? Who are you after that? So if I took this picture, could you look at this picture and be okay with what you see? And you'll be amazed that so many of them said, well, no, I don't like the way I look now. I don't like how I feel. I don't like what was done to me. And so really what you're saying is what was done to you, or the lack thereof, what wasn't done to you, is what you're seeing in this mirror right now.
That's right.
And so that perception, that reality is now who I become and I walk forward with. And so when you have creeps and silly women in that circle, then I gravitate to them, and I'll keep gravitating to them because I'm not okay with who I am.
Right.
And so, go ahead.
I was going to say, but being a silly woman makes me feel good.
Well, it's always going to make you feel good, because remember, we eat ice cream to make us feel good. We overdose to make us feel good. But the repercussions and the reality is still there after it's all passed away. When we've gained the weight, when we've killed ourselves, it's still there that there was an issue. And we see it time and time again, and it's manifested itself, especially when we look at Hollywood. We look at our stars that we hail or put on a pedestal, that they are human too. And so the moment when you realize that we all have the same, we walk the same walk, but there's just different places that our journey has taken us. So I couldn't have started my journey without, when I started walking, I never knew I would have this journey with these women. But the reality of it is that where I'm going, I'm so excited about it, because God trusted me with this purpose, with this plan. And so the moment that, again, I am a breast cancer survivor, so I have 5 years. And at the moment when I thought my life was over, he said, not yet. So, but I need you to trust me. Do you trust me? So if you trust me, then this walk becomes a whole lot easier, because when fear comes in, fear and faith can't exist. So therefore, I move forward. So every time when we ask you about the challenges, and when the devil steps in and the energy vampires take over and the challenges come up, you still say, but who am I? I was purposed to do this. So I walk forward in my destiny. I look forward, like he said, with confidence, because the confidence it can't come from people. It has to come from self. And so I'm sorry because I get excited, especially on the show, y'all. This is because this is
our
real.
world.
This is my
Yes.
passion. This is who I am. So when I hear Darren speaking, they say the philosophical. We're going to tie it because I feel like there's layers, but we always extract it. We don't look at being a teacher as being a doctor. We look at I teach our kids, they go home. No, I save lives every single day.
Right.
The moment I interact with them, it is for me to resuscitate them.
Right.
It's up to me to make sure that their health is right. And so in the educational standpoint education is power. And so, yes, I may not have matriculated through a collegiate system or an institution, but you still have the power to matriculate through life.
That's it.
But you got to use what you've been given, and you got to know who you are. So we thank you. They on Facebook, they were like, "Speak, Darren." So I'm like, and then be a trendsetter, not a trend follower. So yes, we speak to our audience, and they're hearing you. So yes, thank you.
It's a beautiful.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about the show because Evelyn also tackles that again, and it's one of the things that we call contrast. You know, is there light without darkness? Is there darkness without light? You have to acknowledge the contrast, and contrast isn't necessarily bad because when you know what you do want, at the same exact time you know what you don't want. And so that unfolds in the show as well. We have to go through something in order to grow through something.
My grandmother used to say a lot of times the best preachers, men that make the best preachers, or women that make the best preachers, are those that have been through something because they have a story to tell. You ain't never been through nothing, there ain't too much you can say. People don't listen to it. You gotta go through something. And I think that those things that you go through are those things that catapult you to being a better person. And then if you learn from it, if you grab it and own it. You ever heard of a guy that, and I hear this a lot, especially on the road. You've heard of a guy that says, "Nah, man, I don't mess around no more. I don't cheat no more." But then he brag about every chick that he been with.
I'm a changed man.
You reform.
Yeah, that's what I am.
He still lives in that. He lives in that. He can spread some pearls of wisdom even in the midst of that.
Absolutely.
Right.
In the midst of that. So, this life thing is beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's the way that God opens it up and allows you to see His message and how we're supposed to share that message. It's just a beautiful thing.
Right.
Amen. Well, we thank you all for coming out today. You're more than welcome. It's been my pleasure.
All right.
Miss Evelyn, can you tell us where we can get tickets?
You can get tickets at evelynjonesreed.com or www.creepsandsillywomenthestageplay.com or call 817-368-4839 or simply come to the door. We will be selling tickets at the door the day of the event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want to miss this.
Yeah, you don't want to miss Sam is selling tickets at the La Quinta Inn.
Doing 346, Don't let no fellas come up in there. All the women. You want to be a blessing to these women. Give them a white Dallas, Texas.
That's protective.
Right. And every 70th woman gets a free pair of tickets for free.
What's your last? You had such a situation. What's
that?
y'all be saying about the situation?
It's not the situation. We talking about, I'm here to save the women.
Yeah. No, I'm here to teach and educate so they can be brought into the light. It's a dark place. And we want to bring them, let them know it's light over here.
Come into the light, Caroline.
Right. It's not bad, right? Much rest is not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
He gonna tell you, he's like, what are you here to do?
No.
Oh, wow. So, okay, before we get out of here, there's something that's a tradition that we're going to ask you all to participate with us, and it's called Hot on the Spot. So a question's going to show up on the screen, and it's going to ask you to respond to it.
Y'all didn't do anything?
No,
The
individually.
Hot on the Spot box is the black box. That's
That's not the question.
Individually, you have to answer it individually.
You have to answer individually.
Okay.
So let's go. Tony,
No, not
go.
neighbor. Tyler Perry.
Wow.
Said that.
We did.
Really? Okay, so the question is, when did something start out badly for you, but in the end, it was great? Really?
Love thy neighbor.
Wow.
Hallelujah.
Well, my daughter was born. They were both, her mother and her almost died. But it turned out excellent because they're living. We are saving a lot of lives, getting emails all over the world that they're being saved through the message. And I think it's turning out wonderfully now.
Okay. Miss Vanessa?
I would say a breakup that felt like a death, but ended in a rebirth of something.
Speak, sister.
Oh, Lord.
You come out that silly stage.
Is there another?
Okay.
Darren, this is going to be for you.
That's the same. That's the same.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold up.
It's the same question.
Yeah, it's going to be the same. Everyone has to answer the same question.
I don't, when it comes to something that's relative, I don't think anything is bad. That's just it. I think all of the challenges that I have were presented to me to help make me grow. So I don't look at them as bad.
Good answer.
That's good.
Good answer.
Good answer. Miss Mabel?
When I had to get up and go to work this morning.
Miss Mabel. Miss Mabel. I'm on my way.
Was she on our conversation? Miss Evelyn?
I tell my story. When I was brutally raped at 5 years old, that's my story. And what was bad about it, because that experience, and I didn't talk for a year, but what came out of it is for me to tell my story through the pen. Because I wouldn't talk, so I wrote.
Wow.
So that was the best thing probably could have happened to me.
Wow.
Robert.
I don't know how to get deep, but to be honest, transparent, after my mom died, I went into a depression, and it took me a while to come out of it. And I thank God for His mercy and His grace to get me to where I am right now.
So, I got one more. I think getting in that truck, driving over here, and then getting started. It started out bad. It was a long ride.
What you say? Was the thumb here?
It was cold outside. It was cold. It's supposed to be 80 here. We know you in Dallas.
Is this for us?
Wow.
Okay. So this is for you all. What movie can you watch over and over without getting tired of?
I got
Wow.
Face Off.
That's yours.
That's one of my absolute. I can name 3 or 4 of them. Face
I
Off,
got
Usual
3,
Suspects. Wow. Talking about the
Oh,
Crisco,
man.
Count Monte Cristo.
Oh my goodness.
And Moth, yeah.
What a Wonderful Life.
Miss Evelyn?
Color
Right.
Yes.
Color purple.
Shawshank Redemptions, The Goodfellas. I like all of them. Good stuff.
He went from Shawshank Redemption to Goodfellas.
The contrast. We got to have contrast. We got to see the light in the dark.
The villain.
I like how you be released at the end of
Freedom.
the movie.
Get freedom,
You go
right.
through and you get free. Come on.
Freedom.
Miss Mabel? Did you go?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
She did. She
That was wonderful.
Mine is West Side Story.
Aubrey.
I would say Life and 5 Heartbeats.
Ooh, come on, son.
Eat your cornbread. Yes.
How the baby baby boss?
You ain't go get it.
Miss Vanessa?
Mine's not as deep. Mine's more of a Broadway thing. I love Grease.
Grease. Crisco or
Well,
Did you say olive oil?
well, we truly thank you for coming and sit with us here at Power Play Radio. It's over. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, we wanted to play more.
I'm just playing.
I think y'all have
Well,
a
you're more than
rehearsal.
welcome to
Yes,
come back, and we can always play hot on the spot. We really thank you. We thank you, Miss Evelyn, for your testimony, for your vulnerability, for your obedience.
Yes.
To making sure that this comes to fruition. And we can't wait to see it. We're truly excited about it. Thank you to the cast for coming in and sit down. Thank you. Much prayers to you as you travel on the road.
Yes, absolutely.
But not a but, and we are here on first and third Mondays from 7 to 9 with My Sister's Keeper. Again, we will post the information on our page. You'll see it on Power Play Radio Network, where to buy tickets. Please get out and see this so that you can come back and tell someone else or be a testimony for them and as your minister to through this stage play. So as our closing, sometimes you have to forget how you feel and remember what you deserve. You are my keeper, and know that I am yours first. So straighten your crown and never be afraid to stand out. Inhale confidence, exhale doubt. Until next time, we are My Sister's Keeper. SiSSTAS. Yes.